If you're a busy professional or a business owner and you need ideas to land fast, then this video is for you. You've probably been in a situation where you're trying to explain something to a client or a friend or maybe even, team members, and the default move would be for you to, send them a long email or maybe a document. And sending a document kind of sucks because most people won't even read it. And even if they do skim through it, it usually doesn't land the way you want it to. Something visual like a slideshow packs way more of a punch. It's more engaging and people understand ideas way faster. The problem is creating slides takes time. And even if you're using some kind of AI tools, a lot of them still feel kind of clunky. Okay, but not anymore. Google Gemini has made this way easier and the friction is so much lower now. So in this video, I'm going to show you how to use Google Gemini to create a clean, well-structured slideshow in a matter of minutes. Here's a simple flow. Okay, step one, you're going to give Gemini the source material. Step two, you're going to give it one good prompt. And then step three, you're pretty much good to go, right? You're just going to export it to slides and then tweak it if necessary. And just to be clear, Gemini is the tool, but it's really the prompt that gets you the results. Now, in a previous video, I shared a framework called the Craft Framework for writing better prompts. I'll link it up here if you haven't watched it already, but we're going to use the exact same framework to create the slideshow. And a quick refresher on what Craft stands for. We have C for context, we have R for role, A for audience, F for format, and T for task. Nothing fancy, just a quick and easy way to tell AI what you want. Okay, so let's go over an example together. Let's say I want to explain the difference between Bitcoin and Solana to a friend of mine. Now, he knows a little bit about Bitcoin, but not very much about Solana. And he's also not a very technical guy, so I know he's not going to pull up the white paper and read it. Now, I could be a total douche and send him both the white papers anyway. If you haven't seen the white paper, this is the Bitcoin white paper. It's about 9 pages long. And here is the Solana one, which is about 32 pages long. So yeah, not exactly a juicy read. But I could also send him, a couple of YouTube videos and say, hey, watch these, and which he probably won't. Or I could send him a short slideshow that clearly explains the difference between the two in plain English and make it much easier to understand. So that's what we're going to do here. So here's the approach I'd take. I'd go to Google Gemini and then click on this little tools icon and then select Canvas. Once I'm done that, I have to add the files. So I'm going to click on this little plus icon and select upload files. And I already have the white papers downloaded here. So I'm just going to select both of them. And now comes the important part, which is the prompt. So I've already pasted it here. I'm just going to expand it so you can actually read it. So for context, I'm giving the AI some context. I'm trying to explain the difference between Bitcoin and Solana to a friend of mine who's non-technical and has, very basic understanding of crypto. The role that I want the AI to take on. Act as a neutral educator, explaining concepts clearly and accurately without hype or persuasion. Audience. Who's going to receive this output that the AI gives us? That's going to be my friend, a non-technical user with basic familiarity with cryptocurrency. Now the format, how I want the output to look. So create slide-by-slide outline. One slide should focus only on one idea. Use short bullet points, use simple plain language, avoid technical jargon or complicated words. Briefly explain any necessary terms, include suggested slide titles, suggest visuals where helpful, and then use a dark theme. Now, I could also mention, other things like the number of slides, how detailed to get, things like that. Let's just leave it as is and see what the results look like. Finally, we have the task, which is to create a slideshow comparing Bitcoin and Solana using the attached white papers. And then I'm just going to hit submit, and then we're going to see what the results look like. And just like that, we have a slideshow. Pretty remarkable if you ask me. So let's go over it really quickly together. I hit the download button here and exported it to PDF so you could see it clearly. And we're just going to breeze through this really quickly so you can kind of see the kind of stuff that it created in a couple of seconds. So Bitcoin versus Solana. So it starts out by explaining what a blockchain is. Then it highlights the double spending problem, has some cool visuals here. Then it gets into what Bitcoin is and how it's digital gold. Again, some cool visuals. What else it got? It talks about proof of work, Talks about the hashing mechanism and how blocks are chained together, the incentive, security. So really cool, right? And then it gets into what Solana is, talks about the speed barrier, proof of history, has these really cool visuals and such. Okay, I'm going to keep going. Look at this really cool comparison between Bitcoin, Ethereum, Visa, and Solana, and how many transactions each network processes. And Solana on paper can process way more than even Visa. So pretty cool. And if you notice here, Bitcoin, you can't actually see how many transactions per second it processes. So I could go back to Gemini and continue to iterate within the chat and say, hey, you know, on slide 17, I can't actually see how many transactions Bitcoin processes. Can you fix the visuals? And it will do that. So yeah, pretty incredible. Then it has this trade-off, a little table that shows the trade-offs between the two. I mean, just wild stuff, right? And slide 20, it's asking if there are any questions. A little formal for my friend, but that's okay. And then last two slides are just the sources where it pulled those images from. So pretty wild stuff if you ask me. Now, I did iterate on this once. Like initially it came back with 13 slides. So if you see, I ask it to make it more detailed, maybe make it 20 slides and please add more visuals. And this is what it came back with. So, you know, from here, I could just share the canvas with my friend directly, or I could download it as a PDF as I showed before, or I could also export it to Google Slides and make a couple of tweaks there if I want, you know, maybe change an image or clean up a sentence or two, you know, adjust the layout, whatever. I could do whatever I want to. Okay. But you can also continue to keep iterating inside Gemini. Personally, you know, if the changes are small, then I find it easier to just export it to Slides and make those changes there myself. But if not, if there are major changes, then I could just ask Gemini to make those changes. So yeah, that's pretty much it. Anytime you're about to send a long document to somebody, there's a good chance it should be a short slideshow instead. You know, you could use it to explain a project to someone on your team. If you're in marketing, you could use it to communicate your brand story. You could use it in client proposals, executive summaries, onboarding documents. Like the use cases are endless. Okay. So I hope you guys found this video helpful. My name is Rahul. If you did find this video helpful, please like and subscribe. I'll see you in another week or two with another AI fix to help you get in the mix.